As an international law student, in a few years' time, the baton will be passed on to me from some of the people, even in this room, to try and solve some of the world's most problematic issues of the day. But as this conflict in Syria and Iraq rages on, I would like to ask one simple question tonight. Do we have time to wait for the baton to be passed on to me, or is now the time to put forward new solutions, which, although controversial, offer a potential solution to overcoming the political deadlock which often gets in the way of progress? Now, at the home of an institution, famed for sometimes its traditional outlook on international law, this might stir some trouble. But the idea of political, independent, private investigatory teams dispatch the conflict zones ahead of formal political approval, I wish to outline, does offer a novel and interesting solution to the political deadlock. To place this idea in some form of concrete example, the Commission for International Justice and Accountability is currently working in both Syria and Iraq, and it demonstrates that investigations can be conducted during a time of conflict, which is an issue that the ICC often struggles with, as its mandate for investigation often falls long after conflict has taken place, where evidence can often be destroyed. Another advantage of the Commission's work is that it is funded by democratic states, but at the same time maintains its independence to investigate both sides to the conflict, crucially, to a standard of beyond reasonable doubt. Whereas UN efforts so far have been the result of political mandates that often include compromise. So with UN efforts, we often see that they are more fact-finding missions. Politically independent, the Commission is able to build solid investigations, which so far have enough evidence to indict both President Bashar al-Assad and 24 members of his regime. Now, admittedly, this idea of roving private investigators does sound a little bit like Scooby-Doo, turning up in their mystery machine to solve the weekly crimes. But just like their fictional comparison, I argue that the Commission is incredibly effective at what it does. Now, as with any idea, this solution isn't without some issues. I fear that states can perhaps contract out their obligations for justice and accountability raises a fair and important point. And likewise, we have to hold the Commission to a high standard of accountability and perhaps take a leap of faith that their investigations will investigate both sides to this conflict. But to end tonight, I want to leave one question with you. Do we resign ourselves to the utter futility of international justice and accept the status quo? Or is it time to entertain ideas which, although controversial and perhaps unorthodox, do offer a new and ingenious solution to the traditional problems of international law? Thank you very much.